Yeah, I was confident. I kept on moving forward. I kept on pressuring him, and he kept on running away from me. For 20 minutes, this guy was running away from me. And then I heard at the end of the fight, he was saying that, he wasn't sure why the victory was given to me. Who's supposed to be given the victory? I've been pressuring him the entire time. He was running for 20 minutes, and then he's wondering who's supposed to get the victory. Listen, I'm happy for a rematch if he wants a rematch, but then maybe in the rematch, he could fight for real, not just run away the entire time.
Clearly, we don't matchmake on fight night, but a fight that close with a champion as great as Pereira has been, do you lean towards immediate rematch?
Probably.
Shama.
Despite a close fight, Alex "Poatan" Pereira's stock took a sharp hit, and the so-called fans started turning their backs on him, claiming he's past his prime. But the Brazilian Predator isn't backing down. He's coming for revenge. Poatan's former rivals already agreed to run it back, and neither fighter wants to waste time. An official announcement is coming soon, but for now, let's break it down. Was Pereira's loss just a fluke because of underestimation, or did Magomed really read and outsmart him? And most importantly, what can we expect in the rematch? But before we start, I want to remind you about subscription. Unless you want Pereira to find your chin, let's go.
He's been publicly speaking about how he's going to knock out Alex Pereira. That's all he's talked about. He hasn't said, I'm going to take you down and knock you out. He has said, I'm going to knock him out. He's even said he's going to knock him out on the feet.
Yeah, if you're looking at it and you're going to be honest about it, you're saying, look, how does Ankalaev lose the fight? He stands up with Alex Pereira and doesn't wrestle. That's how you lose that fight.
No way. No way. Why not? Because
before we dive deep into the fight and break down the rematch, let's not forget this matchup has been heating up for years. Both fighters have talked a big game, especially Ankalaev.
Смотрю на это вообще по-другому. Я зол, я голодный, мне это нужно. И я думаю, мы просто нападем и сделаем свое, чтобы забрать этот пояс, свой клуб, свою родину. В общем, обрадовать своих близких болельщиков.
Despite getting that highly anticipated W, the Dagestani fighter had promised he wouldn't wrestle and was ready to stand and bang for all 25 minutes. Of course, this is MMA, not kickboxing, but Ali's strategy to sell the fight definitely paid off, no matter what anyone says.
Сказал, что ты там даже какое-то время бороться не будешь. Давай.
Я могу гарантировать это. Я и там написал, и я могу с ним, если нужно, до конца в стойке подраться. Но я хочу его избить, я хочу просто напасть на него, просто показать, что я лучше него.
No matter how cocky Big Ank's words may have seemed, he was right about one thing. The speed difference was real. Alex struggled to find the right angles to land his shots.
Ты допускаешь, что он может попасть?
Даже вот близко. Я думаю, вот с его скоростью он не коснется меня вообще. Максимум, что он может достать, лоу-кик он может не достать. Я думаю, с рук он не коснется до меня. Почему? Я настолько уверен в себе, что я могу его в стойке даже побить.
Everything is possible in your life when you believe.
It's safe to say the new champ backed up at least some of his talk. He rocked Poatan on the feet, didn't shoot for a takedown in the first 15 seconds, and barely ate anything big from Shama. Now, let's finally get into the fight itself. Heading into the fight, the odds were set at 50-50, but personally, I couldn't have imagined we'd witness the full 5 rounds. I expected either a classic early knockout from Shama or some brutal ground and pound from the Dagestani, but that's exactly why we love the most unpredictable sport in the world.
Yeah.
If someone told you before the fight that the fighters would go the full 25 minutes, and that Alex wouldn't end up on his back even once, would you've believed it?
No.
Exactly. I want to hear your thoughts on the judging. how did you score this fight? In my opinion, it was definitely a close one, and a 3-2 split could have gone either way, though Maga undoubtedly did more to secure that W, and judges from MMA Decisions seem to agree with us. But before picking a winner for the rematch, let's discuss some unnoticed details. As expected, Alex used his kicks to slow Magomed down and find the range for his signature weapon, while the Dagestani kept pressing forward, feinting and making Poatan anticipate the takedown. What immediately caught my eye was that Pereira completely forgot about the inside leg kick I talked so much in my breakdown. All the calf kicks he landed were with his left leg due to Maga being a southpaw. Also, we saw that Poatan was aiming the head kick the whole fight. It was a part of their game plan. However, the inside leg kicks were open for Alex, and the only time Poatan went for it, he was caught. After that, he stuck to kicking with his left leg. To be fair, we're not here just to break down Alex's game plan. We have to give credit to Ankalaev as well. Yes, he used wrestling and fence clinching, but as I've said before, this is MMA, not kickboxing. And Big Ank did exactly what he needed to win the belt. But what can we expect in a rematch? Let's discuss. Let's start with the new champion, Big Ank. Magomed proved his words and dethroned Alex. Ankalaev's team was confident in his stand-up, so they decided to work standing as soon as Maga absorbed something big, and then immediately come back to the father's plan.
Let's wrestle! Let's wrestle! Let's wrestle!
But what can they add to the initial game plan? Usually, winners are not judged, and they rarely change what has worked, but details can be added. First of all, wrestling. Ank's team must understand that Poatan's takedown defense significantly improved over the last years, especially his cage wrestling. Alex will be more aggressive in the rematch and will push the pace. Magomed may work on his counter wrestling, especially double legs, which Pereira won't be expecting. Another moment, Magomed's self-confidence. They must remember that Pereira is Pereira, and his left hook hasn't become less effective in a couple of months. And if it connects cleanly, Big Ank may turn into a small one very fast. As for Alex, I have many things to add to his game plan. Plinio just texted me.
Okay.
First of all, inside leg kicks. John destroyed Maga's legs very fast, utilizing them. Rakic also had some success. Casuals don't realize how much power difference there is between the lead and rear leg kicks. A couple of inside leg kicks from Alex could seriously shift the fight, and if he starts mixing them up with switch kicks and going upstairs, Magomed may have some troubles. And certainly, Maga's wrestling. Guys, explain to me how you can say that Alex is not the same anymore when he literally defended 12 takedowns from a Dagestani, and just 1.5 to 2 years ago, Jan and Izzy were easily ragdolling him. This fight is also cool because the only time one of the fighters ended up on the canvas was after a tie trap from Alex, and the only time a fighter almost ended up knocked down was after a combination from Maga.
Yeah. How ironic.
The hunter can now hunt more confidently without worrying as much about takedowns. Say what you will about Alex's lack of aggression. He was anticipating the grappling exchanges from the very first second. He avoided longer combinations due to the threat of takedowns. In my opinion, the absence of inside leg kicks was also for this reason. If you don't believe me, just rewatch the fight between Dustin and Islam.
What are your kind of just immediate reflections on how the fight unfolded and maybe what you could have done differently in there?
Man, honestly, similar to Khabib, his movement is really strange. The timing of it is really strange to get his cadence. I wanted to open up more and throw more volume, but when he would commit to the pocket, he would exit weird. His dips with his head, I heard my corner telling me throw the knee the whole time, but I just felt like I might get taken down off of it. And his movement is just it's kind of awkward. It's a weird timing, so I couldn't get good combinations going.
This is #1 bullshit.
I'm not the one to make excuses, but let's break it down. The Dagestani fought during Ramadan, and Alex was constantly on the move. What had a bigger impact? According to Joe Rogan, Pereira stepped into the octagon with a broken hand and was battling a norovirus, which contributed to his performance against Magomed. But Alex has secured victories with minimal effort before, and in the fight game, injuries are just part of the deal. Okay, there is an unspoken rule that in a rematch, you should choose a younger fighter who was also successful in the first fight. But will this rule work against the bald hitman? I reckon Ankalaev will count on his stand-up game, coming for a knockout and potentially pushing the pace. He might not even try to take Alex down this time, preferring fence clinching if things got heated for him. Alex won't be afraid of Maga's wrestling this time and is likely to be locked in more than ever, focusing on his striking and offense. Both fighters have solid corners and high fight IQs, which amps up the intrigue for this rematch. Still, I'm going against the odds and backing Alex. Sure, he'll be hitting 38 by the time they run it back, probably this summer, but he's still evolving. I believe Poatan's camp can correct their game plan, dial up the aggression, and land that one left hook, giving us a few more electrifying performances from the boogeyman.
Shama.